if I didn't put so much emphasis on relationships, intimate relationships, like dating, marriage, and stuff like that, right? If I didn't put so much into that, or if I didn't, I feel like you know how people idolize money and all that stuff? I idolize relationships, right? To me, I tie relationship to my worth. And that's something that I am unlearning. That's something that I'm aware of about myself now. And that's why I'm like trying to go about things differently. And even with doing that, sometimes I feel like I'm going about it the wrong way. Like I was talking to my sister the other day, and she was telling me that I take things too serious, you know. And part of what she was saying was the truth. But then in my eyes, I'm thinking of it as like, I'm only getting older. I'm not getting younger. So I don't have time to... I didn't realize when I became a person that thought I didn't have time for stuff. Because of... Nobody has time, if we're being honest. We don't know when our expiration date is like coming up. You know what I'm saying? So do we really have time like that anyways, you know? So I think it's just more of like, I'm tired of playing the games. I'm tired of the back and forths. Like, I'm just tired of it. It's too easy to just say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and then go forward, you know, or just don't do anything at all with each other. But for me, it's kind of like, I ask people, what's your intentions right now, you know? Because I know the type of person I am. If I'm in a relationship, like, I'm in it, you know? That's what I'm focused on. Like, that's, like, I'm there, you know what I'm saying? But then I also realized it's another side of me that's in a relationship, that unhealed side of me, that if I don't feel safe and secure, then I'm going to shut down, step back, or try to run away from it, you know? I'm aware of that stuff. I'm aware of that about myself. So I'm also aware that currently I'm not ready for a relationship. Mentally, I'm not strong enough for it. And I'm not mentally strong enough for it. Wow. I'm not. And it's not because I am insecure or no, I am a little insecure. If I don't feel secure in the relationship, if I don't feel safe, if I don't feel like I can talk to, then yeah, I am insecure. Like, because if you're not talking to me, you have to be talking to someone else, you know? And I know they're like, oh, that's a jaded mindset. But it's not that jaded, especially if we are used to having that other person there to talk to, and then all of a sudden you don't have it. Like, I'm not crazy. Come on now, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I mean by part of me feels like mentally I'm not strong enough for it. Because that is my mindset. Even though that person could be suffering in silence, you know, and me just not thinking of it at that time or in that present moment, and I respond to the way that I'm used to responding, like the way I just responded a couple of seconds ago about it, you know? It's things like that that I'm aware of about myself, that I work on, but I also don't feel like a person that didn't cause that deserves to go through that with me. And that's where... I'm not gonna say that's not where my hiccups lies at, honestly. I think my hiccups just lie in the fact that I idolize relationships. Like, that's my idolization. It's not money. It's not materialistic things. It's not a status. It is, I guess you could say, a status. A relationship is a status. So that's what it is for me. And that's why I attach to my worth in this world. And I shouldn't do it. Because what if God really is calling me to be single? And I had this conversation with God before too. And I was like, if God is saying, hey, I'm calling you to be single, will I be able to follow God, knowing that I don't want to be single? And I don't know what it is that I'm afraid of about being single, because I was single before and I didn't have a problem with it. Or maybe I just didn't realize I had a problem with it because I told myself that I didn't, but I didn't feel like I had a problem with it. But then I'm thinking back at a time, like, when was a time that I was really single and not talking to someone? You know, when was a time that I was doing that and legit doing that? I don't recall that time. It's always been someone. It's always been someone. And what I mean by it's always been someone, not saying that I always had a roster like A, B, and C, but you know how like you'll be talking to someone, getting to know someone, and then you're getting to know someone else at the same time, right? But then out of the two that you were getting to know, you picked that person. It was like, all right, this is the person, right? Like, that's what I mean by it was always someone, in a sense. It's like one would go, and then weeks or maybe even a month would pass, and then another guy would come and introduce himself to me. Or not even saying it like that, because in between it is people that are introducing themselves to me, but I'm saying no to it, you know. I'm being like, nah, I'm okay, you know. And then that one guy that comes along that kind of fits what I am working towards, you know, even though he's not fully there yet, but he kind of fits it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh crap, it's like, could he be the one now, you know? So then I started talking to that person, and, you know, implementing the new things that I learned about myself, or the things that I've learned from my past relationships that I've been working on, you know, automatically implementing those things up front, or just whenever it's conscious to me to implement it, you know. So I'm doing all those things, and it's like, another one bites the dust, you know. And so it's like, dang. And I'm thinking, like, what if that's God's way of saying that, you know, I know this is what you want, but maybe it's not what I want for you. Or maybe it's not what I want for you right now. I keep hoping it's the right now part, right? Because part of me, I want to have that companionship, you know? I want to have that where we can that I have someone where we can just talk, and that I know it's not judgment attached to it. And if it is judgment, I mean, we're humans. We're going to judge naturally, regardless of what, you know. So I think that's part of the unconditional love, though, too. You might have those thoughts about something or your opinion about it, right? But you still choose that person. You still love that person regardless. Like, I want that. And I feel like because I didn't have that in the past, that's why I want it so much now. And maybe that's why that whole I idolize the relationship thing is because it's something that I was, I don't know, lacking, I guess, in a sense to say. Man, wow. So that's why. But I kind of already knew that I idolized relationships when me and God was having a talk. So yeah, I said all that to say, just to circle back to it, right? Is that, what if God called me to be single? Would I be able to do it? Part of me feels like I would be able to do it, but I don't even think it's going to be hard. No, it is going to be hard for me, because I really do. See, I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, is it going to be hard for me because it's only going to be months, right? Or maybe a year or something like that. I'm not thinking in the aspect of, no, miracle, God's calling you to be single throughout your rest of your life, be single. And I'm like, do I want that for me? That's the part that I'm afraid of. And maybe that's what I'm afraid of really surrendering to God completely, is because I'm like, man, does that mean I'm going to be single my whole life? And I know in the Bible it's a part where he says, you know, he would prefer us to be single like him, you know? And if we can't, then he would want us to be married, you know? And when I think about that, I'm like, is he saying the married is for the weak? And then I'm like, man, but I don't want to be weak. I don't want to feel like I'm this weak person that has to be this way, you know? Because knowing that that's what he wants from us, it's the strong can do that, you know? The strong can be the single like he wants. And we think that the strong is the married. No, the strong is the single. The strong is the single. Because you know how much strength, discipline, just, I want to say courage, because of, you know, they say we are the only species that's not made to be alone, in a sense. Like, human beings are not made to be alone individuals, right? So it's kind of like, I'm going to have to be that. As you can look at my face, I'm like, dang. I don't know. I really want to have that person to share things with, to talk to be able to depend on. And then when I'm thinking about it now, it's like, well, why can't God be that for you? God can. I just don't. I don't really trust in God. I don't fully trust in God. But I don't really trust in God because, like, it's days where I be begging God, like, God, let me hear your voice. Like, just talk to me. Just tell me what it is you want from me, you know. I've tried I'm inviting you in. You are invited into my conversations, my home, my life. So I'm trying all of that. And I cannot hear God. And it hurts and it sucks. And it's scary. And the part that I say scared me is that part of me feels like I would be scared to hear God's voice too. But then I'm like, wouldn't I want to rejoice? Because then I would know he was real. But then it's the other part of me is like, nah, you would low-key be scared. I don't want to be scared though. I really don't want to be scared to hear his voice. Maybe that's why he's not allowing me to hear his voice. I'd probably be scared and go crazy. Dang, man. Only if I can get to the root. To the root, to the tutor. If I can get to the root of this feeling. So then I can really solve it and move on from it. And be that forward thinker about things and just life. If only I was. Peace out, forward thinkers.